In the back blocks of Western Australia's largest port town, this could be a shipping container yard. But it's a working farm. They're growing oyster mushrooms. And besides its urban location, what sets this farm apart is the material used to grow its crop in. It's recycled coffee waste.
Oyster mushrooms love the coffee waste. They're also known as the vegetarian steak because of the B6, the B12, the iron. So they tick both of those boxes. We can grow them off the waste product. They love the coffee and they have a lot of nutritional value. So we're calling these the coffee mushroom. We're finding through the research and through feedback from chefs that there is a better taste to the mushrooms. The mushrooms grow better off of the coffee waste, and it's a waste product that typically goes to landfill.
Julian Mitchell and his business partner Ryan Creed got the idea while working in the mining industry.
When we were working in the mines as health and wellness officers, the philosophy behind Life Cycle is really a local food that emphasises nutrition and health, happiness and waste utilisation.
Their business started in the coffee-loving hub of Fremantle, where they won a competition hosted by the city. The One Planet pitch promotes triple bottom line sustainability.
It got voted on by the community members as one of their favourites, but then they've got to go out and raise half the money from the community through crowdfunding, which they did, and then the council matches the other half.
It takes a month for the oyster mushrooms to grow out of their coffee waste packets, and it took Julian Mitchell and Ryan Creed even less time to raise $15,000 through crowdfunding. They offered most of their supporters home starter kits.
So this is day 3, and in about 4 or 5 days this guy will be ready to harvest. It will double in size each day, so it's very engaging and very fun to watch.
The reaction of the public's been overwhelming. A surprise to see how many people are contacting us who want to connect with the coffee ground collection, connect with the local food movement and be at the forefront of change for local food.
Fremantle's Bread in Common restaurant was quick to join the closed-loop system. It's one of 17 outlets in Fremantle and Perth exchanging fresh mushrooms for coffee grounds. Chef Scott Brannigan is an enthusiastic supporter.
Oh, they look beautiful. I've just got a nice little pork dish I'm going to do with them. Bit of togarashi and some seaweed, so be really good. Get your coffee grind. Yeah, cheers. Enjoy. See you later.
At Bread in Common, there's already a strong emphasis on sustainability.
And I use a lot of my waste to make vinegars, like fruit waste and things like that, so the mushrooms are just an extension of that.
People may love their coffee in Fremantle, but when it comes to coffee culture in Australia, all roads lead to Melbourne. Life Cycle has now expanded its operations to Melbourne and has entered a partnership with another crowd-funded coffee waste recycling venture. Caitlin Reid and Minna Larson's company Reground is already collecting a tonne of coffee waste every week for garden products.
In the city of Melbourne alone, there's about 5,000 tonnes of ground coffee, and that's a really conservative estimate based on cafes going through roughly 30 kgs of coffee a week. Most cafes go through a lot more and then restaurants go through less, but that converts to methane gas, which is 20 to 40 times more potent than carbon pollution from cars.
So then we're talking about what we can potentially do in this space down here.
Yes.
Ryan Creed is busy building the business and new partnerships with a sharp focus on education. He's taking the Life Cycle mushroom starter kits to primary schools, working with Victoria's Life Education Company to grow the message about growing sustainable local food.
So mushrooms are very high in phosphorus, iron, vitamin B, and when you're harvesting them off the box into your pan and eating them straight away like you were talking about, you're capturing that health.
The Life Cycle kits are also being offered to schools for fundraising as an alternative to chocolate, and the company is donating some of its proceeds to expanding the life education program. Besides Melbourne and Fremantle, they've now also started a closed loop at Noosa in Queensland. They reckon the potential is unlimited.
So when we think about in 2030 and 2050 there's going to be 7 billion people and 9 billion people, how are we going to do this? You know, this current model is not sustainable for that, around, you know, huge broad acre farming, shipping food all around the place, having a large carbon footprint attached to that, growing food locally because it's fresh and tastier, but because it's also sustainable is really our vision, and that's what we want to do across Australia.